Hello everyone, it's Giovanni from the Fitness Ethic. Welcome to the episode 2 of our podcast. Today we're going to be talking about insecurities. I'm here with the lovely Mercedes.
Hi.
The lady of the Fitness Ethic. And we're here to bring some funky, fresh information.
So, today's topic,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a touchy one.
Mm.
Episode 2, we're just getting right into it.
Oh, we're digging into meat.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We so are.
That's cute.
So, the reason this episode even came about was we were kind of brainstorming things that we could talk about. And one of the most common things I hear from friends, family, people that even come in for consultations is, I have to get in shape to go to your gym.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me is like the biggest oxymoron there ever was. But we hear it so much that there has to be something to it. And we were starting to like kind of dig into it. And then G had this epiphany moment. It was just like, you know what? This is nothing but a giant
Insecurity. Well, it wasn't just that flat out, but bold. But a lot of times it's the insecurity that provides the obstacle for you to jump the hurdle.
Exactly.
And the most important component to it is that we can both relate
100%.
to that element.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're just going to want to talk to you guys today of the top 5 insecurities that we see in fitness, how they relate to your life, and some tools, tricks, little stories, little motivation to kind of get over them and let you guys know that probably the biggest thing with insecurity is we've all been there.
And sometimes we still are.
Yeah, and sometimes we still are, and we're just putting on a good front.
Or we've learned how to use them as a tool.
Yes, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So for the first one is the insecurity in fitness of getting started. So one of the things that you brought up that was really good, that I felt, I didn't even think of this.
Mm-hmm.
Being a lifelong athlete, having a trainer since like I feel like I could walk and then I got a trainer. That to me, going to a gym, being in a professional's hands is actually a motivator.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel secure.
Mm-hmm.
And not being in someone's hands, like being like, Mercedes, go do this video by yourself gives me anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You actually face the opposite on a daily basis.
Right. So I think for me, is as we say, I got it from the mud, right? There was one of those elements where it was, I didn't have a professional to kind of coach me up and teach me. And I actually had very seldom experience up until this component or element in my life and time of having a professional work with me. And so there was always that fear of what the experience would be like, and if it would be a straight all-out massacre. And so just not knowing, the fear of the unknown was always one of those monkeys that I had to get off my back before actually going and walking through the door to seek a professional and professional help.
That makes sense. I think also one of the things that I know, because we hear it so much and we face it, is a good trainer, a good facility, a good tribe is only going to be there to support you. And most importantly, specifically if you're going for personal training, it is personal. It is customized and built for you, your levels, your goals. A good personal trainer is never going to beat you down. They are going to build you up. That is literally their job.
And one of the elements too is to find the fact that it is personal. That's the first word to it, right? And each person is going to have their physical obstacles and elements to progress and move them forward, no matter what their goals are, no matter what their aspirations are, and understanding and tying into that. And each person responds differently to coaching, and knowing that there's a process, and through that process there's phases that you have to carry that client to, regardless of if they're in a group class or if they're in personal training. Right? You don't want your clientele to get lost in the shuffle. You want them to understand that it is a process with phases, and we have to get you through that.
So if we could give one tip each to someone that is just getting started and their insecurity is even getting out of the car to go to the gym or to like even do the first consultation, what is your one tip to overcome that insecurity?
Well, I think that one of my clients always tells people during our class sessions, if it's their first time, everyone has their first day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that it doesn't matter if someone's doing burpees while the other person's doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? Everyone's beginning is different, and everyone has their first day. So I think that first step is the first step towards progression. You're not going to get it, right? Les Brown always says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
I love that. Yeah. I love that quote.
So it's the element of getting started, right? The first step isn't the end step, but it's the beginning. It's the opening of a door.
I don't know who said this one, but my favorite one is, even the greatest were once a beginner. Okay, I like that. I think mine would have to be recognize what type of person you are. Don't define yourself by your insecurity, but use the tool of the type of person you are. And what I mean by that is, the best way to do is for me to explain as an example. I was where, if someone has this insecurity, I was where you were a few years ago. Not even, probably like a year ago. And I'm the type of person, being a person that played on a team, someone that had trainers, I need accountability partners. I like class settings. I need that to give me motivation. Those needs that can be met at a facility are greater than my insecurity. Me being at home, taking on my own fitness journey, I'm not someone that can do that. I'm not self-motivated now in this present instance in my life to do that. So don't let that insecurity take you away from things you actually need to get where you want to go.
Right. Especially if, like you said, that's a great hit on the head of the nail. It's where you want to go, right? You have that end goal. So the reason why you're thinking about training, or even like contemplating it, or it's prevalent in your mind at all, whether it's for a negative association or not, is because you do have a destination that you desire to get to.
Yeah.
So in order for you to get there, you have to identify that and accept that. Take the first step. All right, what else we got?
So our second base insecurity.
Okay.
Which I love this one.
Okay.
Because I think this probably connects the most to life.
Okay.
Performance anxiety.
Performance anxiety. Okay. I think that's a major one for some people, especially athletes.
Yeah.
Right, or people that have an athletic background. There's a performance anxiety of not being able to perform to the standard that they once were.
Oh yeah, I suffered from that.
But there's also the performance anxiety of competition, not being able to compete with those who are. And then you have the people that go to the gym that never really had an athletic endeavor. They started working out in their 30s, and at 40 have this phenomenal body that is uninjured and and youthful and energetic and bouncing off the walls.
We're sitting here saying it's not fair.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that there's definitely a separation where you have to understand that you are an individual, and it's different, right?
Yeah.
And also, the mark of a good trainer and coach will be to help guide you into being able to move again, guide you into being able to have access to your body again, and also guide you into realistic goals.
I totally agree with that. I think that a lot of undertones of performance anxiety, and I'm speaking from an athletic point of view, is the fear of failure, or the fear of not being good enough, or this one, which used to get me, knowing, because I was a hard trainer. Like, I would train hard. I was not afraid of the work, to the point that, like, I broke down my body doing it. But knowing that I was someone that put in the work, and that still wasn't good enough to get me the results I wanted. So, like, I gave it my all, and that still was, I still failed. I think a lot of people, even though we're shifting it from the sports realm, when it comes to fitness and life in general, is this, like, overcasting insecurity of fear of failure.
Now, is that fear of failure something of a standard that you placed on yourself? Is that fear of failure of something that's realistic? Is that fear of failure, I mean, is that something that you created in your own mind?
So I think a lot of us, so for me, I think that these were goals that were tangible at one point and I should have realized that, at a certain point of trying to accomplish them, that maybe they just became unreasonable. You know what I mean? That I had to kind of reevaluate and go, all right, you weren't good enough, being real with myself, you weren't good enough to make your goal for whatever reason, X, Y, and Z. But like where you got was pretty damn good, and you should be proud of that.
Right.
When it comes to people in life, I think we put a lot of unrealistic expectations on ourselves in general. Like I should be 5 years ahead in my career when like it takes 10 years to get there. Right. So why do you think the expectation is going to be 5?
Right. I think that that's one of the elements of this time and age is that we fall victim to fast results, right?
Or perceived.
Fast results. Like you just jump into any endeavor and boom.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it happens. And there's a process. There's a phase. There's multiple phases to go through, right? And also there's part of the understanding of failure is truly becoming one with who you are and understanding that you are not where you want to be, and that there's a process to get there, and accepting that and being okay with that. I know that for me, I'm actually kind of hard on myself in the standards of.
Oh, you're extremely hard on yourself.
I mean, that's the high expectations, right? And I put a lot of pressure on myself in that way. But when I'm able to become realistic with the understanding, even when I ran a marathon, I'm going to finish it in under 4 hours. And I remember my coach told me, don't have expectations to finish at a certain time. Just have a goal to finish. And when I was able to kind of remove that, it actually made the experience a little bit more, it made it more of an experience, more of a spiritual connection to the experience. When I could just remove the time factor, the stress of the time factor, and just identify that my goal here is to finish. And I actually didn't finish with not necessarily a bad time, but it didn't put that stress on me. And the experience itself is already stressful. So why add the element of supplemental stress, right? So I definitely think that in those experiences of setting a standard to the process, don't add unwarranted stress on yourself. It's just a process, and you're going to fail. Just make sure that you're failing forward, that you're failing to progress, right? That you're failing with the intention to progress and with the objective to progress, as opposed to failing to set yourself backwards.
I like that. I've always you've been saying that recently, failing forward, and that resonates with me because, me, failure to me, I take that hard.
Right.
And I would say within the last. Since just having to revamp the way I look at fitness, the way we look at fitness as a brand. 2 things. One, I've made my goals for me when it comes to fitness are micro goals. I no longer have these lofty macro goals like I once was, like a time to beat, a team to make, a certain weight to be at, but rather these micro victories that are extremely achievable, that there's no reason why I shouldn't achieve that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Besides just not doing the work. But I know, like you say, if you do these baby steps, those baby steps may take you longer to get there.
Right.
But you're going to eventually get to the finish line.
Right.
And that's the end result that you're looking for anyway.
Right.
But it's allowed me to take away that insecurity of failure because I never look at myself anymore as a quote unquote failure. The grand scheme of it is I'm gonna be a winner.
Right.
I am a winner.
Right. Well, it's like a video game, right? There's winning the game and there's winning levels of the game.
Yeah.
Right. Your goal and your objective can still remain the same, but understand that there's like I said, phases and processes to get to that point. Right, and you have to be able to accomplish those and check those off the box as you continue to move forward. And a great trainer will be able to help you to identify those and understand that each person is different and each person is an individual. And to be honest, in a personal training experience, failure is an experience And experience is the greatest teacher.
It's like it's necessary.
To an extent,
yeah.
Right? And the best way for a trainer to learn your body is to have experience with you moving and performing in the gym and learning what you have access to and don't have access to, so that we can continue to mark these goals and objectives for you.
So when it comes to the second insecurity, we can mark this as performance anxiety, fear of failure. What is your tip?
It's a phase. It's a process. It's okay to have high standards. However, understand that you have to achieve each level to get to that main destination. So, allow yourself to experience the journey, and be vocally and verbally communicative with your trainer or your coach, so that way you can receive the information, but also they can give you their best in relation to you.
Mine's kind of the same thing. I'm just going to word it differently. For those that, like, sometimes I think a lot of us say the same things. It's just the interpretation of it.
Right.
Remove the time frame.
Okay.
And that's not just in fitness, that's in life.
Right.
If you take your wellness journey and you take your life seriously, in a fitness way, in a healthy way, you can kind of remove time for most aspects, because you're no longer living a certain allotted amount of time. You're giving your years longer.
Right.
You look younger. You feel younger.
Right.
You're capable. You're more capable.
Right.
Remove the time frame or the expectation of a certain time,
Right.
and just give your 100% work ethic, and you will get there.
Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, because after all, fitness is a lifelong journey, right? And it is something that will benefit you for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind.
So we are now at our third insecurity, halfway point here.
Okay.
This one actually may be the biggest. Appearance.
Yeah. I think that it is definitely. It's funny because it can be a gift and a curse, right? Some people fear what they look like in a session in front of people that they don't know, or in front of a class.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I was thinking like more like results driven, but you're saying like just even working out.
Yeah, and then some people may look like, or I'm sorry, feel like they're not up to par yet to be able to start working out, that they have to kind of quote unquote get in shape to start to work out. I mean, how true is that really, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to what's your goal, right? Because, I mean, I know some people that they look great. Their fitness level is not great.
Right.
Vice versa, there's some people that you may go, oh, I got them in a foot race every day, and they will shock the shit out of you, to be quite frank. So I think it depends on what your goal is. I think when it comes to appearance in general, social media, this like idea of an ideal body, which a lot of it is, I'm not against plastic surgery at all, you know that. But it's not a real body. It's not something that they earned in the gym. And I know you deal with that a lot. You get a lot of girls that come to you, or females, I should say, and they have a certain body type that they want to accomplish, and almost never is it the body type that they have.
I don't think that I get a lot of people that, but there are a few. And fellas too. I mean, every man, woman, and child that watched Arnold Schwarzenegger growing up, you know, wanted to achieve a certain aesthetic appeal and didn't know how to go about it. But again, this goes to the factor of how can you switch your perception to use it as a driving force. So it can be a curse to keep you away from the gym, or you can use it as a gift to get you in the gym. For me, the insecurity of how I looked, I mean, it was one of those things that got me into working out. You know, I can remember as far back as middle school, during the winter breaks and during the summertime, you know, I'm gonna do 100 push-ups a day, 100 sit-ups a day. And I'm gonna come back, because I was the guy that was averaging 6s anytime anybody passed out the boy ratings around the school, right? And
you barely made the cute column.
Barely made. I made the average column. So it was one of those things. I kind of carried a chip on my shoulder because of that. But you know, also there was also other insecurities. And one of those elements, you know, that I understood was that was going to be the driving factor to get me into fitness. And then once I got into working out, the world of fitness itself, like, opened its beautiful doors to me. And the factor of, like, I was able to access and open and develop relationships and opportunities and powers and strengths that I never even could have imagined I would have accessed if I didn't start. Yeah. And it was because of an aesthetic insecurity that I used as my goal. You know, I ended up going to play collegiate basketball. You know, I ended up living a dream there, right? And then trying out for a professional football team. Didn't make it, but tried out. But
still, you got
didn't even make first cut. But yeah, right. But played collegiate basketball competitively and started and was a captain of the team. You know, and then opening up a business and creating a brand of, you know, that is my namesake and my child, essentially, right? Developing relationships like I have, it opened up all those opportunities. And it was because I used it as a driving force. People tend to kind of allow it to shut them down. And they also allow it to kind of develop false realities of what their goal should be. And that's not fair to themselves. And I think that a lot of people have to do a reality check, some introspection, to kind of really figure out, you know, is that person what I want to look like and who I want to look like? And is that even real? Because social media can be used as a tool or
a weapon.
Exactly. And it's your objective to define which one you want to use it for.
I completely agree. So when it comes to appearance, what is your tip? Is that where you're going with? You're using it. You're using it as a tool.
That's it. Use it as a tool. You know, identify the factor that's the element that wants to get you in, but be realistic about your goals. Right? Your goals shouldn't be Halle Berry, Arnold Schwarzenegger, so on and such forth. Right? It should be what it is to you. You know, what you want to achieve, what you can achieve, what things you can push forward towards.
Yeah. I think mine's a similar way of, like, especially to the ladies, like, play up what God gave you. You know what I mean? Everybody is beautiful in their own way. Some women are going to have great arms. Some are going to have great, you know, back muscles. Some are naturally going to have, like, big, strong legs. Some are going to have a butt naturally. Some are not, but they're going to have washboard abs. Like, play up what you are given, and I think women spend so much time hating parts of their body that some other woman is, like, begging to have. Learn to love yourself, because by the time it's too late, you're going to look back at pictures and be like, why was I so mean to her? Like, why did I not take better care of her? And again, to know that it's a journey, that, like, if you want to fix something within realistic standards, you can do that, and you can put the time in the gym and the effort in the gym and do that. And that even is in real life. You know, you can dress yourself a certain way to highlight the attributes of your body. You can cut your hair a certain way to highlight the attributes of your body. Even for men can do the same thing. So just be nice to yourself.
I definitely like that. Love yourself first. Because if you go about it with the wrong energy and intentions, it's not going to work out for you. It's not going to be a beneficial and fruitful experience. At all. So definitely start with love internally, and go for what you know. You know, I definitely believe in that too. That what you said, everyone has their own aspects that are beautiful. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, and it's expressed physically, aesthetically, personally, emotionally, in its own way. So own that, live in that, be that, you know, grow that, progress that, evolve that. Moving on up.
So number 4.
Numero 4.
I think we touched on this a little bit when it came to appearances.
Okay.
Or slightly throughout the whole conversation. And that is the insecurities caused. And so it's insecurities, right? Caused by comparisons.
Right.
And I think that's really easy to do in the fitness world, because we typically work out as communities.
Well, and typically if you're in a gym, you're around other people, regardless of if it's a private boutique or things
That's
of that
true.
sort. Yeah. So it definitely is hard to get lost in the sauce in that way. I'm sorry, easy to get lost in the sauce that way, where you see Jackie or Dan over there working out, and he's doing a million jumping jacks, burpees, push-ups, and sit-ups.
Do you know any Jackies?
Nope, I do not. I know a couple Jackies actually.
Okay, okay.
I know a couple Dans actually. So,
Okay.
but you're over here struggling to get the one push-up, and that's your struggle. Jackie and Dan have their struggles too. Trust me. But it's not about that. It's not about the comparison. That's not how you get better. You don't get better by seeing something else in somebody else that relates to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get better by understanding that you have your own struggles and you have to progress those, or you can work on those to progress those. I think that you had a great story about the fitting in situation with you and your papa.
Yeah.
How about you share that? I think that's a great story for people to.
Okay. So my papa, who was my lifetime coach, my gym teacher, he's not my biological dad, but for all intents and purposes, he raised me.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's your father.
Yeah. And so let's just say from 0 to 9, I stuck out really bad. I was this size. I was abnormally large, and then I just stopped growing. And I had really awkward long legs and a giant head, and in my second grade picture, people thought I was a teacher. I was just 7. And I just stuck out, and I was super self-conscious about that. I just knew everywhere I went, I was a big kid.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, got a little teased about it and stuff. So it was a huge insecurity of mine. And for whatever reason, the whole elementary school was in the gym, so it was Papa's domain. And we were doing the hokey pokey in a giant circle. No one in the circle. It was sphere with an empty middle. And so we're doing the hokey pokey, and I was probably the only kid at this entire school that was just standing so frightened in the crowd, not moving, not having fun, totally in my head about being oh, if I hokey pokey, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And I'll never forget, somebody came behind me and pushed me right into the middle of the circle, and before they did that, they whispered in my ear something along the lines of, you think you stick out now, but you stick out more not having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that would, make fun of you for doing the hokey pokey is because of their own insecurities,
right,
not yours.
Right. So
So you might as well just have fun.
Right.
And I had to rise to the occasion, and I did.
Right.
I hokey pokeyed my little booty, my big booty.
So, long story short, she put her right foot in, she took her right foot out, she put her right foot in and she shook it up. No, I think that's one of the beauties of you got lost in comparing yourself to everybody else and what you look like or how you felt like you didn't fit in. And then once you remove the element of what everybody else was or what everybody else looked like, what everybody else was doing, you decided to have fun, right? And I think that's one of those elements with fitness, right? It's once you remove yourself from thinking about what everybody else is doing, essentially, you actually can dive deeper into your experience so that you can progress even more.
Yeah.
And so definitely, you kind of have to have the blinders on, right? It's cool to acknowledge that, and if that's a goal and an objective for you to progress forward, right? If you can't shake your leg like Timothy, right?
These names, do you know what Timothy?
If you can't shake your leg like Timothy, that's all right. You still hokey poking your booty off, but know that Timothy might be the goal. Maybe that's going to make you work a little bit harder. So again, I think it's really using it for a tool, but keeping a positive relationship to it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's how I've tried to use my comparisons. I never look at anybody and go why can't I do that? Mm-hmm. If I'm oh damn, I want to do that, it's all right, you're my carrot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm in class and we're pairs, guess who's my pair? You know what I mean? And yeah, you're gonna beat me, but I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm not gonna make it an insecurity.
Right.
I'm gonna make it a motivator.
Right. Now, I also like the tool too. If I see someone else doing it, I believe it is possible. Mm-hmm. Now, is it possible and realistic for me?
Yeah.
That's what I identify next, right? if somebody 6'6" reaches the top shelf. Chances of me reaching that top shelf slim to none, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Right? And I understand that, and maybe that situation may not relate to me. However, if someone was doing a handstand, is it possible? Do I want to achieve that? Yes. So I practice. I learn what it takes to be able to perform that move and move myself forward.
Yeah, I like that.
What about you? What do you think would be your go-to lesson from this?
My go-to lesson? In comparison.
Or words to the wise?
I would say kind of like the whole idea of like, if you have an enemy, keep him close type of situation. That like, learn from that person.
Right.
Keep them really close. That's what I was always taught, you know, in sports. If someone's beating you, that's your partner. Like, if you see someone do a really cool move and you're like, I want to learn that move, follow that girl.
Right.
Learn her move. Like, so I think it's reframing it. It's that whole concept of reframing it. And just, you know, you're no longer comparing yourself to that person. You're looking at them almost like a teacher.
Right.
So it's a different, if we're no longer peers, are we equals? And therefore, should I even be comparing myself to you?
Right. And I think that in a great training environment, in a great, tribe is your vibe environment and community, the trainer will put you around people that have similar goals to you.
Oh yeah.
So that way you can actually learn from them in that experience or relate to them. So definitely make sure that there's that element to it. So, but yeah, I mean, you can progress to wherever your heart desires. Just make sure it's in the lane that you want to drive. All right, and last but not least,
the number 5.
Yes.
Insecurity. My little notes are over here. Not fitting into the fitness world.
I know there's a lot of people that look at the fitness experience like, oh, I'm not for that hoop and rah and.
I used to tell Giovanni I don't play exercise. I play real sports.
Yeah. And that can be an insecurity in its own right?
And it totally was.
Feeling like the element of not, like you can't be yourself or you can't keep up, so you want to kind of downplay what the experience is. But what was your approach into changing that?
I think that it was having to come to terms with I'm no longer playing sports. My goal isn't sports anymore. My goal is to be healthy, live a long life, shed some lbs, get some more mobility, not have pains when I wake up. So therefore, why am I joking and hating on the people who are having that? You know what I mean? Like, get with the program.
Right,
you know, your life is no longer in that lane.
Right.
You know, and then the days that we play like flag football and soccer and stuff, and they're beating your ass in burpees, you hand it to them on those days. Like, those are your small little victories.
Right. I think that another element to that too is the fact of identifying, right? Because you feel like you're not a high fiver or oh yeah, right? Does that mean you have to have negative energy, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Right. So you can be that way, right? You can be a quiet person. You can be more of an introverted person. I know I am.
I would say you're definitely not a like hoorah like.
Most specifically when I'm working out.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the high fives in the world if you're doing great. When I'm working out, I'm not one to necessarily scream at myself or bang my chest. I may have a moment here or there, but and I'm also not one of those guys that kind of like need a high five. I'm more of a whisper guy. Like I need that like, yo, you can do it. And I'm okay with that, but I'll never come with negative energy to somebody else's workout, right? I'll never bring, and I'll smile, and I'll still shake hands, and I'll still greet, and I'll meet people, but I'm just more of that introverted type of personality. However, you get me to talking, as you can clearly see, I will talk, right? But identifying that element, right?
Yeah.
Just because you're quiet doesn't mean that you have to bring a negative energy. Bring a positive energy, come with that, and be who you are. Own that. That's okay.
And I must say, I do think, now, being a sports person, you know me, I'm always clapping and like telling people they can do it.
Right.
But I do think that type of energy is infectious.
Right.
Even if you're a person that's like, no, I'm not high-fiving anybody.
Right.
No, I'm not cheering for somebody.
Absolutely.
You let someone cheer you through something really hard, and then you see someone going through that same experience. Yeah. You are more inclined to be like, I know how much it felt good to have 20 people telling me you got this. That like you're kind of like, all right, I'm not going to be here, not telling them that they can't do it. And I think too, it's kind of just not going with the flow, but like don't be so closed off to this idea that you don't fit in.
Right. Well, I think too, the greatest example is, go out, run into heavy metal, right? And go out, run into R&B, or go out, run into some positive, like something EDM with an upbeat tempo, right? You're gonna notice that your body will naturally move to those elements. Heavy metal might have you crashing into the ground. Rap might have you kind of more of a bop to your run, right? And then some EDM will have you like pacing out of breath. It's an energy about it. It's an energy, and that energy will feed you a vibration. So there's definitely that. And the other thing too is the mark of a good coach, right? Yeah. Will be able to tell that you're not like everybody else, that you don't vibe off of the same, coaching points or pointers that everybody else does. So, like I said before, I'll give you a high five. I'll come up and I'll scream. I'll celebrate you. But I'll also whisper in your ear, like, you can do this. Hey, keep getting it. I'll pat you on the back, or I'll give you the nod, like you're doing it.
Know your athlete.
Right. So I think it definitely a good coach will definitely find your vibration and ride with it to keep you motivated. So.
And I also think that like we joke a lot about the fitness ethic is the brand of misfits for the fitness industry. But when it comes down to it, the fitness industry is such a vast and dynamic, vibrant mix of people that you may look at somebody in a gym getting at it and then find out that they are your orthodontist Friday morning, and you're like, wait, what? You like, how did that happen? Or vice versa, someone that may be super reserved and you're like, you just think she's just over there doing her thing, and come to find out she's like a rock and roller on the side. So I think that this whole concept of I don't fit in or imitate an immediate intimidation by the fitness industry, it's a facade. It's a fake facade from social media, people putting up their highlight reels. When you really get into some of these boutique facilities, some of these brands that really have an identity, really care, there is somebody for everybody.
Yeah, it's true. And we've all coaches have been through their experiences, and a lot of times they become coaches because of that reason. So I definitely think that that's one of the elements that you come to learn and understand.
So when it comes to insecurities, like we always say, what is the one thing you would tell your younger self?
Again, I think it's use it as a tool, and understanding that it's a process. It's a process, and looking at the longevity of the experience, and also understanding that there's increments to the experience. You're not going to become the most mobile, strongest, fastest person all in one segment of working out. Right? It's a process and a journey. So understanding that, and so the other thing is too, like vetting out the communities, because a good coach will know what gets me to go.
And in the spirit of the fitness ethic way, what is a very tangible or a very hardcore example that you could give our audience of insecurity in the gym that directly parallels to an insecurity in life and like the overcoming cycle?
I'll do it tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow.
I was like, no, you have to do it today for the podcast.
I'll go tomorrow. Procrastination.
That's a good one.
I'll go tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it now, maybe next week. Next thing you know, you paid for a full month and never showed up.
Oh, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. So, and you think that people that typically would like, I'll go to the gym tomorrow, there's probably a lot of things in their day-to-day life that they're saying, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll read that book tomorrow. I'll finish this for my job tomorrow. I'll do that presentation tomorrow.
Or they're so gung-ho in the one element that they are up to par
progressing in.
Right. That they forget about being a family person, a brother, sister, father, mother, a cousin, so.
Okay. How do we combat that? How do we make sure we don't fall into that trap? Because, I just whispered it, but like that can be me. Like
right.
I can get the way my brain works. Right. I have a problem, I have to fix it.
Right.
And often that has to do with external work
right.
and not internal
right.
work, meaning me.
Right.
And with that being said, how do you get over that insecurity of
action?
Okay.
I think action, but I also think that your tribe is your vibe, right? You have to have somebody that's willing to tell you got stuff in your teeth, right? That's willing to tell you, as Kobe put it, right?
Yeah.
That's willing to tell you that the uncomfortable necessities, right? You need to get yourself active. You are falling short here. These are the goals that you set for yourself. Somebody that holds you accountable. So action and accountability.
I like it. Action and accountability. And don't let these insecurities be the reason you aren't on a fitness journey.
Hey, talk to them. As always, we poured our hearts out. We hope that it reaches you well. We hope that it informs you, teaches you, it expresses to you in ways that you needed to express. And much peace and love. Right.